morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Expedition Business, where we bring you the highs and lows of our entrepreneurs' business adventures. And today we have the privilege of talking to Suezette Smit, whom I got to know as the founder of Vroue Wat Voorloop. But that is not all that Suezette does. Suezette is also a global leadership coach, inspirational speaker, philanthropist, emcee, firewalk master, and high-altitude mountaineer. Suezette, what did I miss out on?
I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm not a cook, and I'm super passionate about life. I think those are the couple of ones that you missed.
Fantastic. Well, I know about the passion. I see it all the time on social media. I don't know, how do you manage to keep your energy levels up?
Christelle, I think it's part of my genes. I think I was born that way, and I've always got this fear of missing out on anything in life, and that's why I'm always in overdrive. I just love, if they take my energy away, I don't know what I'll do. But I think it's just part of my personality. I love life.
Oh, fantastic. That is so inspirational to hear. But tell me quickly, how did you get to do what you are doing? How did that all happen?
Christelle, I'm going to take you back a long time ago. We lived in the Free State in Bloemfontein for many years, and those years the end thing was to get a job and a salary, marry, have kids, and I ended up at the Performing Arts Centre of the Free State, and I was exceptionally happy there. Absolutely awesome environment to be in. But I always knew, and I think this also came from an event that I attended as a participant in Durban. I always knew that there was something inside of me that needs to go out, or put myself out there. And I always say God gives us a lot of potential, and it's sad that people go through life realizing their potential but not taking the risk. And I'll never forget, there was a guy, Ken Annandale. He spoke that morning at that conference in Durban. He spoke about movers and shakers, moaners and groaners. And the thing in life is you either one or the other. And I don't believe in sitting on the fence. So you go full out or you don't. And it took me 7 years to play with that idea of what is my potential and what would I like to achieve in life, but more so, what would I love to do to bring change? And people is my biggest source of passion, and I love to inspire people, and I love to change the way in which they see themselves and how they view life and how they view business. And I just one day woke up and resigned, and I said I'm going to start my business with no money, but loads and loads of passion and hard work and perseverance, positivity. And that was 23 years ago, and that's how I started. And till today, I don't regret it. It's been a wonderful journey.
Wow. And in the 23 years, you've added a lot of credentials, like the Firewalk Mastership. How did that happen?
I think, Christelle, I need to also say that in the 23 years, I have learned a lot. I've observed and learned a lot about people and people behavior. Now, the Firewalk was actually a colleague of mine who did the Firewalk for us, and I was especially intrigued by, the entire philosophy behind firewalking, which is actually not as bad as what people think. And through him, which he was also one of my mentors, I ended up in doing the Firewalk Master, the qualification through an institute in Switzerland. And I myself have done, with groups, obviously have done, I can't count, but there's been so many firewalks. And I cannot begin to tell you what it's done to my mindset. And the power of the mind, when you put your mind to something and you keep that focus and concentration, you can actually do anything. So we've been very fortunate to have taken mostly women on the Firewalk sessions, which always forms part of our leadership events. and especially women with disabilities as well, which to me was a absolute eye-opener to show to people, that doesn't have a disability, that normally those people are stronger than what we are.
So what type of disabilities?
The lady that did the fire walk her leg was amputated, so she jumped over on the one normal leg. And to me, that was an absolute wow, that she's lost half of the one leg. What else can she lose in life? Nothing. And that's the same thing, also with people that we had the opportunity to work with. I think Hein Wagner, the blind guy,
yes,
who's also an international speaker. Hein is also one of those people, he always says, what's he saying? It's almost similar to, I've lost my eyesight. What's your excuse? He's got a different kind of saying to that. But when you know that you've lost something, it compensates for a stronger mindset in what's worse. What else can I lose? And I think, Christelle, it's the same thing when you work with somebody that's been diagnosed with cancer and that's in remission. If you look at their positive outlook on life, they've been through the worst. What else can be worse than this? And that to me is a very powerful lesson in life.
Wow. Suezette, you've mentioned you've been in business now for 23 years, but I assume not everything is just roses and sunshine every day. How do you get through, or do you actually get bad days, and how do you get through them?
Christelle, yes. Look, we all get those bad days where you question yourself. And I mean, I don't want to go back there, but lockdown was one of those phases where I think first of all, I've got to rephrase. In these years, I've taught myself to always remain positive, to not allow the environment around me or people or news or whatever's happening in the world to influence me with fear and negativity. That's my outlook on life. Anything in life is possible. And when so first of all, when lockdown came, I was like, okay, 3 months. I love doing face-to-face sessions with clients. I hate online sessions because I want to pick up on your energy. I want to see your face. I want to see your how you react. And I want to be close to you. So on a Zoom, you don't get that same effect. And then I did a couple of Zoom sessions with clients, but then still I was like, this is just a phase, 3 months, 4 months. And then it kept on going. The one thing I realized was, and I always teach this to people, is that you've got to innovate and you've got to start doing business differently, which in a way I kept on doing the thing that I knew worked. So that to me was a challenge because for my business was on a standstill. And I mean, if it's not moving, there's no income. And that was a huge challenge because I don't like plan B, C, D, E. I've got plan A. My plan needs to work. Okay. So I've learned a lot about myself. I've learned a lot about being a little bit more patient. I think it's because, it's that was a challenge to me. Other than that, I think in business is you work with clients which are not, integrity is something that's missing out there. People that promise you, whatever, and then they don't come to the party, they don't pay you. I've had those sessions before, but I've learned to eliminate those kind of clients. Other than that, no, I can't really say. I think the only challenge for me was every day you've got to build your business and you've got to evolve it and you've got to think forward and you've got to think a couple of years ahead. And sometimes when you're in the motion of just being busy from one event to the other, you don't make enough time to sit down and say, okay, what needs to change? And that's one big lesson that I've learned.
And if you sit down and think what needs to be changed today, what would that be?
I think at this stage, I've been contemplating about this now for almost 3 years, because also, Christelle, when just before lockdown, we moved from, change is always good, but change can be challenging. Mm-hmm. So just before lockdown, we moved from Cape Town to the Klein Karoo. Mm-hmm. So although I love living here and the lifestyle is amazing, proximity is power. Mm. And, when you're in the city and you go out to a coffee shop and you put your laptop, you open up your laptop and you work, or you have a meeting, there's a total different vibe. Mm. Whereas I'm very much about energy levels around me. And that's something that when I came here, I thought, okay, is this a new phase in my life, or is this just moving from one town to the other? And I saw it as it's a new phase. There's a reason for everything. And for the last 3 years, I've been in this process of I've got to rebrand. I've got to change the business structure. We all are working from our own home offices these days. What is it that I can bring to this environment? How can I build my business around the Karoo? I think there's a lot of opportunities, but still do what I do. So that has been a challenge, and I tend to overthink. Whereas, just get a couple of like-minded people around a table and brainstorm. So, that's more or less the challenge for me right now, is just that total, should I keep on doing, should you run with a business name that's been established for 23 years? Yes. Should you run on being just Suezette Smit? Mm-hmm. It's those kind of little things. And I think this happens to any entrepreneur or any business out there. Brings me back to lockdown we've got to innovate and we've got to change. Because if you don't change, you're going to be left behind.
Absolutely.
Mm. And I know you are the excellent person to speak to. You and your business, because that's what you guys do.
Well, I think if it comes to decisions that you have to make, normally the answers are within you. So yes. Asking yourself, what do you think? What's the value of Suezette Smit versus your company name? How many people know your company name, and how many people know Suezette Smit?
I think more people know Suezette Smit. The company name was established because it's an official business. Mm. But also, Christelle, on the other hand, is we tend to sometimes know the answer. Second thing is we need to just go back to the basics. Mm-hmm. What was the thing initially that worked? Yes, you've got to stay on track with everything. And look, also, Christelle, there's social media. And that's another topic that I actually want to speak about. But there's social media, and, you think like, oh, my word, I'm left behind. I've got no videos out there. People don't know me. They want to listen to me. But then there's a flip side to that coin that I actually do want to speak about.
Okay. And what would you like to say about social media?
Okay. So social media has its benefits if you use it in the right way, and if you use it in a professional way. I've had an experience a couple of weeks ago, and it was quite scary, where I personally, and I might step on a couple of toes here, is that I do believe that lots and lots of people are putting out fake information on social media. That what you see, and I've experienced this, that what you see and that what you hear is not necessarily the person. Mm-hmm. It's so easy to put a filter on, make myself look beautiful, have a script in front of me, be the most positive person on this TikTok. Mm-hmm. And then when you meet me in person, you go like, oh, wow. Mm-hmm. Sorry, is this Suezette? Is this really what she looks like? And, I mean, when I interact with you for 10 minutes, I realize that you are the most negative person on Mother Earth. Mm. So for me, that people need to just draw the line and make a decision. If you put yourself out on social media, be authentic. Don't change the way you look. And you know, there are a couple of people that I do follow. You are one of them, and you are who you are. But I think you will understand where I come from. And I keep on saying this. It's Christelle, it's similar. It's an example. I met up with somebody a week ago. And this person is by far the most negative person I've ever encountered in my life. And this person said that they're a group of people that are going to form a TikTok video where they just put out positivity to the world. Because I don't know how it works. You earn money. I don't know how you earn money.
Yeah.
And I looked at this person and I said, serious? You are one of the most negative persons I've ever met. I said this bluntly to this person.
Yes.
I said, nobody wants to be around you. How can you fake it for money? Well, I don't know how they earn the money. And that's where I actually blew a gasket at that stage. And that's where I said, because I'm very straightforward, and that's where I said that we shouldn't buy into everything that we hear, because people paint a picture of something that's not reality. And that's where the fear comes in for an entrepreneur sitting there, and they go like, oh my word, I've got to do a TikTok, I've got to put out videos, I've got to act this way because everybody acts that way. And not everybody's life on social media is as wonderful as what they project, to society. And that is the thing of integrity and authenticity in business. If you have those two things, Christelle, you'll go very, very far.
Absolutely.
And I also got to a point where I said, if a client wants to book me, make an appointment, I'll fly up, I'll sit in front of you. Look me in the face, this is who I am, this is what I look like, this is my energy. Put me in front of your staff and I'll deliver, because I can deliver. But if I send you something on a video, it's pre-recorded. Yes. It's not who I am. And I think that's the point. That's something we all need to get back to. Let's just be who we are, because that opens up doors for you.
Absolutely. And I think that is, you mentioned the fake people, and giving the idea to the world that everything's always perfect. And I think that's one of the things that we try and do at Expedition Business, is to also show the not so great side of business, the times when things are not going great, and it happens all the time. And how do you get through that?
Every day. It's all the time, Christelle. It's normal. I mean, being in business 23 years, you do get those days where you just throw your arms in the air and say, okay, so now what now? I'm just going to sell everything. I'm just going to resign from my own business. I'm just going to buy a little coffee van and sell coffee on the side of the road. You get defeated at times, and you feel like a failure at times. And that is so, so, so normal. But don't stay there.
Absolutely.
Don't stay there.
Good question. What is your fun and exciting ways that you use to regroup, refocus, and re-energize?
Christelle, I think the little bit that you know about me is I love to be up in any tree. If I find a tree, I'm in that tree. No, just a joke. I mountains. I love hiking. I love being outdoors. I cycle, but not, I don't do marathons or challenges or mountain bike races. I just want to be out in nature. I connect with nature, and I think the fresh air as well, and just being on my own. So my ideal is to pack my backpack and go into the mountains solely by myself for an entire day, and just recoup. That's the one way. And then the other way is also my family knows. When I've just like last week, when we come from a huge event, they must just I need my space. I just need my space to not talk to anybody, to not think, to just be in my space. But definitely outdoors, exercise.
Okay. So you get your energy from being on your own?
Not always. I do. I do get it from being on my own, and I also get my energy on the flip side from people. So I am a people person, not every single day, but I feed from people, but positive people, creative people, go-getters, forward thinkers. I love to be around them because I listen and I observe. And obviously creative spaces as well. It just does something to my brain.
Oh, fantastic. You've mentioned earlier on the people that you came across, obviously the fake personalities, the people with the broken promises, and they're there all the time. How do you handle them if they come in between in your sessions, if they're your clients? How do you manage to get over them?
I think I've always, in the environment, in the industry that I'm in, is, for me, the biggest goal is to bring change to somebody's life. And there's lots and lots of broken people out there. And in whichever way, with the tools, the techniques, the experience, the knowledge that I've built in all these years, it is my duty to see that there's a way in which I can steer them in the right direction to either get professional help or to work with them or to coach them if they want to be helped. So, and then you do get the occasional person that you realize they need professional help. But for me, I'm very proud to say this, Christelle, in all these years, I think it's because of my heart, the kind of person I am. I've never ever worked for the financial gain. It is important in business. But I can't take any of that with me one day. But what I can take with me is those testimonies of people that said, thank you, Susan. Quick in and out if I need to go. I just need to be close to an airport. And we looked at property. It was quite expensive. We shopped around. And then I kept on looking. Look, Oudtshoorn, I said no. It's a no, because I'm not going to live in 54, 50 degrees in summer. It's too hot. And then we bumped into the small town De Rest, and I saw there was one house that I saw. And I said to my husband, let's just drive out and have a look. And he said, are you crazy, crazy, crazy? Do you know how hot it gets in summer? So we came here, looked at a couple of properties. It's a beautiful, beautiful, well-kept, clean, safe town. Beautiful. I think it's one of the best kept secrets in South Africa, in the Klein Karoo.
Absolutely.
And walked into this beautiful historical house that we are living in. And when I walked into this house, I said, this is it. This is what I've always wanted. Oh. So we moved because of a house. And we didn't think further than that.
Tell me a little bit about the house, the history behind it.
Yeah, it was built in 1903, restored, beautiful. Got this big stoop all around. And I mean, if I sit on the stoop outside, we've got no fences. I mean, this is how safe it is. And if I look up, I look straight into the Swartberg Mountains. So I am surrounded by mountains, which I love. And occasionally on a morning, you'll have the sheep being moved from one farm to the other farm. So that's our traffic. At nighttime, it's, you hear all the frogs and the crickets and those things. And I mean, the stars are beautiful and it's clean, fresh air. But I'm also 80 kilometers from George. And as I said, I'm 4.5 hours drive from Cape Town. So I'm still close, and I think that's the benefit of, and that's something, Christelle, that I've picked up from a lot of people. When lockdown hit, they moved out of the cities. And lifestyle these days are as important as is health. And people are tending to, they go off the grid. And I must also say that the Karoo is just so beautiful, and there's so many opportunities for forward-thinking entrepreneurs. You can have your business anywhere in South Africa, as long as you've got Wi-Fi. Absolutely. And you can connect.
Absolutely. And in the meantime, you are surrounded by all that beauty and
all
everything
the beauty.
That there
and
is.
No traffic jams, no crime. absolutely zero crime. And as I said, we've just drove about 2,000 kilometers through South Africa last week. And it's horrible to see that those beautiful little places has gone down. You know, they've deteriorated. And what we've got down here is we just live in heaven. It was good to see that.
Well, Teresa's been down over here a couple of times, or at least once that I know of.
It was, I think, 10 or 11 years ago. It was, yeah, it was. Okay. It's a clean little town, well kept, looked after, no rubbish, no, you know, it's just beautiful. When I drove in here yesterday, I just appreciated it so much more.
And do you get time to drive through Maringspoort, seeing that that's on the other side of where you come from?
Yes, so opportunity here is we're on the tourist route. And so you have Oudtshoorn, Swartberg Pass, Prince Albert, and then you come all the way around through Maringspoort, which is beautiful, and then through De Rust, and you're very close to, as I said, to George. So for anybody that, well, look, I once again say there's opportunity everywhere, and the opportunity that's in this area here is massive, especially when you work with tourists, or it's a well-known tourist destination.
Oh, I must say, I love tourists. I love Maringspoort, and as you're talking, I'm thinking of all the good times we've had at the waterfall at Maringspoort.
Yes, and we have the Maringspoort Marathon, which happens once a year. I think this year's on the 14th of October. It's already sold out. The entries opened, and a week later it was sold out. 3,000 athletes, where they run the 21 and the 12 kilometers, and they actually run through Maringspoort. It's a wonderful event. The organizers are just absolutely fantastic, and I mean, it's goosebumps to see what a small community put together for a magnitude of a marathon like that. Wow. So, yeah, I'm proud. I don't run. No. I don't run. No.
But you're very involved with the race. I think you were the MC last year.
Yes, I was MC last year, and they booked me for MC again this year, which is MCing a sports event to MCing a corporate event is very different.
How so?
But, yeah, it was absolutely lovely.
Okay. How would there be a difference between a corporate event and a sports event?
I think sports event, you've got to think on your feet the entire time. You've got runners coming in. You've got to look at the time sheets. You've got to, you know, you've got to. It's all about the runners, and it's. I think it's just because of that sporting atmosphere. Corporate is, you can actually do. You can prepare well. So emceeing a corporate event, you know exactly this is how the program flows. But emceeing a sporting event, the next moment somebody comes in very slow, or they're half dead, or, you know, they're dead tired, and you've got to do something just to lift their spirit, or pull them, run out and go fetch them at the corner, take their arm and bring them in, so that they're on time, they still reach the cutoff time for a medal. Yeah, and as I said, you've got to think on your feet, and you're busy the whole time. I mean, I'm running a marathon with a microphone, jumping up and down and being so happy for everybody. That's what I did, and it worked.
I would love to see that one of these days, you in action at a sporting event.
Yeah, you must come and visit, Christelle. Come and run the marathon next year.
I would definitely want to do that. Suezette, just a quick question. If you could be your 20-year-old self again, and you could change anything, what would it be?
I think, number one, if I could be the 20-year-old Suezette, I would not change anything. I had an absolutely great life up till now. Raised by awesome parents, awesome family, perfectly normal family. I had lots of opportunities. So I wouldn't change anything, because then I wouldn't have been who I am today. But now you must also remember, I come from a different generation. If I was this 20 years now, today, what I would do is I would not get married, definitely not get married. I would make sure that I travel the world, and even if it means that I work from restaurant to bar to restaurant, get as a lot of experience as possible, expand my vision. There's a huge world out there. There's lots of different kinds of cultures and people. So I wouldn't be that typical South African that believes that South Africa is my country and I was brought in to get a job, get a salary, marry, kids, work, retire. Those kind of, that generation in which we grew up it's in the past. So, but luckily, I mean, I reinvent. So for me, retirement is not even a word. It's never going to happen. I'll retire the day when my last breath goes out, and hopefully that's somewhere busy doing something. But yeah, my advice to any 20-year-old is please don't marry. Don't get involved in a relationship. Just explore, get to know yourself, and also maybe once again I might step on a toe here. Is why do you want to join a corporate and work for somebody? Why not start your own thing and let them be the generation that starts new inventions, new businesses, and new companies in this absolutely beautiful country of ours?
Wow. That is super, super inspiring. And I love your idea of not getting married, not getting involved.
No.
Yeah.
I tell that to my kids as well. Don't marry.
Okay.
I think it's once again, it's my perception. I think it's old school. Why do you want to get married to get divorced? How many marriages does end up in divorce? Stay together. If it doesn't work, kick the one kicks the other one out and move on. But work more on your future than having to have that thing of everybody around me gets married and have kids. Everything happens at the right time when it needs to happen. But I think first, it's you. It's all about you. And just enjoy your life. You can get married when you're 40 years old. And I think you're more mature then.
Okay. I can see a couple of people that would definitely agree with you.
No,
but it's
please,
a highly
please
debatable subject. I love your spirit and I love your views.
And I think the other two things, Christelle, is also my advice. If you are, look, I'm very much for health and exercise. So please don't ever stop exercising. Never. Because the older you get and you stop it somewhere along the line, the more difficult to get in shape. And then I think also to all our ladies out there is take care, buy those creams for your skin, take care of your skin. I know it's a very stupid thing, but we tend to, when we're young, we tend to focus on everybody around us and our family, and we neglect, as women, neglect ourselves. So, yeah, those are two things. Look after yourself.
That is so, so true. So ladies out there, please look after yourself. And if you need more inspiration, get hold of Suezette. She's got loads and loads of more inspiration. But speaking of inspiration, Suezette, an inspirational book that you can recommend for our entrepreneurs out there. I know there's lots and lots, but what would be your number one?
Okay, my number two at this stage, my number one is I bumped into this guy on Instagram, David Goggins. And although he's, his language is really like to the point, I got his book that says Can't Hurt Me. I read this book in one day and I absolutely loved it. And then I got his second book called Never Finished. These are the two books that I would recommend to any person out there. And I think the reason is David Goggins tells his story, how he was raised, how abusive his family was, how he couldn't get through school because he couldn't learn. And then he's the guy that joined the Navy SEALs. and went through that whole week and pushed himself to the point, almost the point of no return. He did all those marathons, all those, where they ran so far for so many hours. He had 2 open heart surgeries, all of those things. He ran marathons with broken toes. But the big thing about David Goggins is, and it's so true, if you look at this, you can't hurt me. He found a way to callous his mind. And he calloused his mind by becoming physically the fittest, strongest man. And I mean, our bodies can take far more than what we believe. I think we all are lazy. And the big thing that came from this book was, he calls it the accountability mirror, where he was far overweight. He sprayed cockroaches as a job. And then one day he looked into the bathroom, in the bathroom mirror, and he calls that his accountability mirror. And he said, he used other words, but you've got to look at yourself and call your own nonsense. There's better, stronger words for that.
What would be the stronger word for that?
That sort of was also a switch. Is, Christelle, all entrepreneurs out there, we all know, somebody that's listening now, know they can do far better. They can make more money. They can reach more people. They can build another business. They're not putting in enough hours. They're lazy. They can be fit. We all can run marathons, but we're lazy. And to look in the mirror and look at yourself seriously and say, you know what? I'm sick and tired of being unfit, overweight, underpaid. I'm sick and tired of only having so many clients where I know I can reach so many clients. So to me, that was the eye-opening of this. And then I'm busy with his second book, Never Finished. So I haven't finished that one, but it's all about his life story, and it's a good read.
Wow. I can't wait to get my hands on that. Super, super inspiring. And then I know you've got loads and loads of motivational and inspirational quotes, but what would be your number one?
Actually, not really quotes. There's a couple of nuggets that I would love to share with anybody listening. And it's things that I've also read, but it's also things that I apply in life and that we all can apply. One of them is become the chess player, not the chess piece. Okay. I think that's a mind shift that we need to do. Don't be the chess piece. Don't stand back. Even if you're an entrepreneur and you're 25 years old, why do you want to stand back? Why not be bold out there and embrace yourself and that what you're good in? And put it out there. And become an owner instead of a consumer. You own your business. So live in that business. And also, if life was only green lights, how absolutely boring. We've got to go through the hardships. We've got to lose people. We've got to lose businesses. We've got to lose money, Christelle, to learn. But if life was all, smooth sailing, it would be just so boring. And then I think this one to me stands out in the sense of, why not today decide to write the headline of your life story first? Write your headline. What is the legacy that you're going to, what difference are you going to make in this world of ours? Or are you going to be one of the population out there? And then you begin with the end in mind. Don't settle for ordinary. Don't be mediocre. Embrace yourself. Embrace your awesomeness, and go for gold. Just go. And if something doesn't work, you try it another way, but you never ever stop. That's basically
your one quote.
And then, and my one quote is not a nice quote, but this is so true. I know people's going to have a smile on their face, and I hope I get it right. It says, you can't put a flower in an arsehole and call it a vase. And there
Do you
are
want
so
to
many
repeat
of
that
those,
quickly?
you can't put a flower in an asshole and call it a vase. There are people out there that does not fit, will never fit us. They will never fit our space, cut them out. There will always be people that's going to badmouth you, complain, have something to say, pull you down. Those are the ones that those flowers doesn't fit them. So make sure that you surround yourself with the flowers that fits the vases.
So true, so true. And walk away from the rest.
Oh, yes, walk away from them. Even if you walk on your own, just walk away from them.
Wow, that is super inspirational. Suzette, what would be your metaphorical mountain that you still need to climb or want to climb within the next 3 to 5 years?
You know, Christelle, a huge, big dream of mine would be, and it links up to my reason for getting up every day and my reason for doing what I do, is to build a center or have a place in the middle of the Karoo where I can take, especially women that's been abused, being abused, where I can take them all in. I know this is like a far-fetched dream, but where you can, all those hurt people that's been hurt by other people that's not mentally healthy, to bring them there and to heal them and to give them a place where they feel safe and where they can actually work on themselves, or you work with them, you get people in to work with them, but no one can hurt them. No one can hurt them. And in that way, maybe this is my goal, or the goal, is if you can save one life, you've achieved. And that is still one thing that I would love to do one day. Because as I see these people around me, and I see how difficult it is for them, and I see how they can't get out of a situation or relationships, and to just take them there where no one can hurt them, and build them. That's what I'd love to do. That, and then obviously also, you know, our communities here in the Karoo. See, that's why I need to be around here, is I think we've got awesome entrepreneurs somewhere out there, but nobody gives them the opportunity. And is to take those, especially women, to take those women and to give them a platform so that they can one day also go out there and do what you do, and have an interview with somebody that also started with nothing.
Just want to quickly come back to your house of safety. Do you have a place, an idea where you want to start it?
No, I don't. I just know it needs to be right in the middle of the Karoo.
So where's the middle of the Karoo?
The middle of the Karoo, somewhere between here, somewhere, I don't know, somewhere. You've got to take a turner from the Tart Road and you've got to go in like 100 kilometers, and it needs to be nestled. There are mountains in the Karoo. It needs to be nestled somewhere between mountains.
Wow.
Somewhere out there, where there's loads of fresh air, and it needs to be so far that no one can hurt them.
Suzette, just a question. When you speak about the abused women that you want to help, I can't help to think that you also work with a lot of corporate women. Do you find that there's people out there, women out there, that on the outside, they look okay. They look polished, but from the inside, they need a lot of help.
Christelle, I would actually want to say I think 80% out there, definitely. And I think it's because I can't necessarily pinpoint what the reasons are. But the biggest thing these days is mental health. And once again, you know, if you look at the divorce rates, if you look at, and I've got a soft spot for women because I'm one. I have never been abused, but I mean, I'm a woman. And they are we are the ones that, give birth to children. We take the generations forward. Yes, there are. Definitely there are. There are, you do pick up those that are 100%. They know what they want. They've got, their personalities are strong. They're bold. But then don't underestimate sometimes those strong ones. Somewhere deep down, each one of us actually do have, that little piece of doubt. And, I definitely. And look, you can put on your high heels, you can put on your makeup, you can put on the suit, you go to the office, you go through the day's motion because you've got to work. You've got to put money on the table and feed your children. But here's the question, how many times during the day do you take time to check in with yourself and say, hey, girl, am I okay? And here's the other thing is, we always greet somebody and say, how are you this morning? No, I'm good. And it's almost like just standing back and asking, Christelle, are you okay? And if you ask that question many times, people are going to tell you, no, I'm not. But also it's, if I'm not okay, what are people going to say?
Yes.
They're going to judge me. I might lose my job. They're going to think I'm I need to go to a mental rehab, which is not the case. So that's why people fake it.
Absolutely.
They fake it big time.
And I think to know that it's okay not to be okay. And everyone is not okay from time to time.
It's good to not to be okay from time to time. Then just, make sure that you've got measurements in place where you know how to channel that not okay energy so that you can turn around, give yourself enough time, turn around and look, pull your shoulders back. It's almost like somebody said to me the other day, she's not okay. And I said, but why? What's wrong? And she said, well, my husband committed suicide. I said, when? And she said 11 years ago.
Ish.
So I know that suicide because he was an alcoholic. So I know that's a trigger for her. But my answer to her was, you know what? You've had this little tent. You've been living in this little tent on this little koppie or mountain for 11 years. And every day you open that zipper. And every day you choose to entertain the fact that somebody took his life. It was his choice. And us women sometimes feel, I could have saved the situation. Or maybe it was because of me. It's the truth. And I said to her, it's time that look, Christelle, if you live in the past, you're depressed.
Yes.
And I said to her, maybe you need to make that decision to take that tent off this little koppie and move to another higher mountain to have a different vision. You cannot do anything about the past, but you can only move forward. And it's easy. I mean, you also know, Christelle, you're also active. I always say, when we go for long hikes, my backpack is so heavy. And I choose to pack it so heavy because it's makeup and 2 pairs of boots and this and that. And then you start throwing out to make it lighter.
Yes.
And for me, it's that example of go through life light. And if something happened, learn to cultivate that skill, which is easy to put it behind you.
Absolutely.
And focus on your blessings, Christelle. There's so many blessings out there. So many blessings out there.
And we tend to forget about it. We focus on all the negative and forget to list the blessings.
Exactly. And stop entertaining the past. Whoever did whatever to you, it's gone. Forgive them. Forgive and forget and move on.
Absolutely. Suzette, you've also mentioned project number 2. That is to help entrepreneurs in the Klein Karoo. Yes. How are you going to do that?
Christelle, I think that's where you come in. with your experience and your business, because that's how you're the one that help entrepreneurs. So I'll definitely offline bounce a few ideas with you. I must say, I'm not too sure. I think the very first thing to do is to, what I'd love to do is to put an event together, in the Karoo. Put an event together on a farm, nothing fancy, nothing expensive. Obviously, you need to pay out of your own pocket or your business, and start with them there.
Okay.
Start. I'm not sure.
Wow.
I'm not sure yet.
I can already imagine it. There is so many nice places in the Klein Karoo.
In the Klein Karoo, or if you get a mastermind of entrepreneurs around you as a team, and you go, and you brainstorm and you do it as a team effort, because everybody's got different expertise and skills they bring to the table. And then go out and work on a project like that and say, okay, how are we? Because for me, it's always about the we. How are we going to empower people that does not have the opportunity?
And make them see all the opportunities.
And make them see all the opportunities.
And
so
grab them.
And grab them, yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Suezette, where can people get hold of you?
Christelle, number one is I've got, I am. I'm not that active on social media. I do have 2 Facebook pages. The one is Suezette Smit, and the other one is the business page, which is Performance Development Interactive. As I say, not always very active on those pages. I'm on LinkedIn as well. LinkedIn, my profile is Suezette van Eden Smit. For some other reason, I put my maiden name in. But other than that, I can give you my mobile number and I can give you my email address.
Okay. Well, I think we're also going to list it in the description. So if you need somebody that's listening to us today, there will be all the detail in the description so that you
all
can
the detail. And they're more than welcome to I always say, call me or send me a WhatsApp and say, can I give you a call? I love to connect with people. And if there's anything out of, my humble experience in business that I can share, I mean, why not? It would only be an honor.
Oh, fantastic. Suezette, it has been such a privilege to talk to you today. Thank you so much for your time. I know you are extremely busy, and we really, really appreciate it.
Thank you, Christelle. Never too busy for you. You are an absolutely phenomenal woman. And thank you for what you and your team does for entrepreneurs out there. And I just wish you loads and loads and loads of success. Keep on doing what you're doing.
Oh,
we
fantastic.
need more people like you.
Well,
it's an honor to know you.
Oh, fantastic. I need more people like you in my life to remind me.
Just come with me on a hike.
It sounds like an
But
awesome
I'm not running. You're the runner. I'm the walker.
Don't worry. I love to hike. Sometimes I tell people I run, but it's actually just a hike.
Oh, and thank you to your team as well, Christelle, for everybody behind the scenes. Thank you for what you guys are doing.
Fantastic. Okay. Thank you very much, Suezette, and speak to you later.
We'll speak later, and have a lovely Monday and an awesome week ahead.